Welcome back, watch fans, to the #1 watch channel for making money. That's right, the goal with this channel is to get in on the ground floor of great watches, which can double or triple in value over the next 2 to 5 years. And we've had an amazing track record. Just over the past year, you've seen some of the big wins. The Ellipse doubled, Patek 3940 doubled to 100 grand, Royal Oak, Owl tripled over a couple of years. Audemars Piguet Cobra up 400% from $6,000 to over $30,000. Unbelievable but true. And today we're discussing JLC, Jaeger Le Coultre. Jaeger Le Coultre. Let me see if I can cross over here. We got some incredible market updates in the world of JLC. But first, we need to cross the street to give you this valuable information. Now, gentlemen, and I do mean gentlemen, listen, don't get flim-flammed by these crumb bums, these hucksters, flim-flam artists out there. He's got these Puerto Rican hubcap thieves that want to steal your children's lunchbox money. All right, these lowlives, these chupacabras. You know what a chupacabra is? You Google it. These chupacabra maricons, like Juan and Kino. These bukyaks, they're just giving you bad information, okay? They're telling the watch market is dead. And they're right. The watches that they own are dead. That's right. Juan and Kino's watches are losing value by the second, okay? Those modern Rolex, modern AP, modern Patek, it's going down. It's basura. It's getting deported to La Isla de la Cucaracha, okay? Now, we're talking about JLC, Jaeger Le Coultre. What's going on with JLC? Well, I got good news and bad news. The good news is, this is the Master Géographique, right? It's a dual time with a calendar, so it's a great complication. Of course, this is the same exact movement that JLC has sold to Vacheron and Audemars Piguet. And it's fantastic, right? Bill Sanders, who I highly respect his horological opinions, not his taste, but his horological opinions. Yeah, he says it's an amazing movement. And guess what? You can get this watch right now for, you ready for this? Under 10 grand. And this is rose gold. Now, here's the crazy thing. I'll tell you what's going on with the market. I'll tell you about the watch, whatever, and I'll tell you what the problems are with JLC. JLC does some really good watches, okay? I mean, they have some, especially at the very top end. They're up there, probably better than Patek Philippe, right? At the very top end. The problem is, people are just not that excited by JLC, but still prices have been going up, right? So this watch, I think I paid like 9 grand for it. What is it, 4 years ago? I don't remember, maybe 3 years ago or something like that. And yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. And full set, really good condition. And guess where the price is today? Probably about 10 grand low retail. So if I sold it, I'd break even, if I'm lucky. And this watch is not going anywhere, right? They're not really going. They're moving up. They're creeping up in value. But I think it's mostly because of the gold weight, right? I think actually these could be deeply undervalued because there's probably, I think there's probably like 2-3 ounces of gold in here, because you got the deployant buckle, a heavy deployant buckle, which is probably close to an ounce. You got the case, and you also have a case back, the flip open case back, right? The Hunter case back. That by itself is like an ounce. Then you got the case. So there's probably 2.5 ounces of gold. And in case you haven't noticed, gold prices are now close to 3 grand, right? So you have almost 10 G's in gold here. Now again, listen, don't get flim-flammed by this hucklebuck Juan and Kino. The guy knows nothing about vintage watches. He talks about, oh yeah, you got to buy for the scrap melt value. He's talking about a Patek Philippe Ellipse. You've got to buy from melt value. Again, the guy is a moron. It's almost like saying, hey, a Richard Mille, okay, Richard Mille, you buy it for the melt value, okay? Richard Mille, which is, you have some of these watches that go for 600 grand, $2 million, and they're made out of plastic. I mean, Richard Mille is basically made out of, I don't know, high-tech composite materials, but basically, let's call it plastic, okay? Quartz, I don't know, whatever. I don't even know what these TPC, who knows what, right? So I don't know. So how can a Richard Mille sell for 600 grand, $2 million, and there's not an ounce of gold in it? Not even a gram. Not even a gram. Not even a gram, right? So again, the guy knows nothing. Everything he's been telling you for the last 2 years, all he says is the same stuff. Oh, the watch market is dead. The prices are going down. Yeah, for your modern Rolex, the prices are going down. That's right. They really are. Okay, you're not giving us any information. He reposts the same videos over and over again. I mean, this guy is stealing your time. Okay, he's stealing your money. He's a chupacabra. You know what a chupacabra is? You Google it. A chupacabra. This pendejo chupacabra. Now this guy, thank God that El Trump has deported him to La Isla de Cucarachas. La Isla de Cucarachas y Basura, that's where him and Kino now are. They're making videos from La Isla de Cucarachas. But look, this guy, all he knows how to do is breed cockroaches, okay? This guy's a cockroach, and, he knows nothing, okay? Here's the thing. Back to JLC. So the problem with JLC is collectors are just not that excited about the watch. And let me be candid with you. The watch is very, very functional. Like, for example, I have it set to a Tokyo time zone. I have a call, about, 8 times a month. For a couple days, I have, calls I'm doing where I'm doing stuff, either in Europe or, well, actually this time, usually it's Europe, but this time I actually have a 5 p.m. call in Tokyo. Now, I'm on the West Coast, right? So, it's the math gets, my business is on the East Coast, so it gets convoluted, right? So this is actually very helpful because you have a separate dial, which is much better than a GMT, right? Which is just a hand. Now you got actually another clock, and also tells you, see the little dark thing? It means it's night. And in the morning, it's white or whatever. It goes, you see basically the 24-hour indicator, right? So it's very useful, right? Look, you don't want to think about it, right? I don't have time to look at a GMT and think, what is 1600 hours? I mean, I'm American, right? We don't think that way, right? I just want to look at a clock. So, but the problem is this. The problem with the JLC, again, with all the great horology, great movements, and again, they're known as the watchmaker's watchmaker. These modern watches that they're doing, if I have to be candid, okay, and the dial is not bad. It's like a silvery opaline dial. It's just not that exciting. It's not like, oh my God, it's like, oh wow. It just doesn't have that emotional wow factor. It's more practical. It's kind of like, it's not even again, it's not really my personality. I'm more to the wow factor, quite frankly. I want a subtle wow factor. Here it's more of like it's almost like a Volvo. Volvo cars, they're just practical. Volvo or maybe like a BMW. I mean, they're just not that exciting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that's holding it back. But here's the thing: they are creeping up in value. For example, one of the watches from JLC that I'm actually interested in, I've been trying to get for a while, is the Perpetual Calendar, which is I forgot the model, but it's the one that they did like around early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, okay? And that watch, again, I'm only interested in gold. And the problem with JLC, they do the same exact watch in steel. They do the watch in peasant materials. Now, the gold and the peasant material, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You can get the steel version of this watch for like $6 grand for steel, or you can get the gold for 10 grand. And the gold is actually there's probably close to 10 grand in gold in there right now, maybe 7 grand or whatever, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So it means you're actually paying 3 grand for the movement, whereas the steel watch, you're paying 6 grand for the movement. You know what I mean? So it's the better value is gold, right? And the other thing you want to watch out for is you got to have a deployment, right? What JLC is doing now to save money because gold price is going up, on their new watches, they're no longer giving you a deployment clasp. They're giving you a regular, just a buckle, a cheap peasant buckle. No more deployment, right? They're giving you a cheap peasant buckle now because that saves the money, right? So you got to watch out for that. But anyway, so the Perpetual Calendar, that watch, 3 years ago, again, I kind of missed the boat on them a couple times for whatever reason. It was the right watch, but I'm not buying a watch from Poland. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going further than like Germany. I'm not going further west. I'm not buying watches from Eastern Europe. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it was about $9,000, nine or 10. Yeah, about $9,500 for a perpetual calendar. About 4 years ago. Today, that same watch is about $16,000. Of course, you got to account for gold, which is basically more than doubled. And there's, again, you're talking about a watch with 2+ ounces of gold. So, you know, there should be, that's probably what makes the, what makes the numbers. Although I think the people who are selling the watches, they're not really thinking of the gold value. They're not thinking like peasants about melt value, because they're not melting the watch. But again, what it's telling you is that there's value there. Now, okay, the question you asked me, is there any upside potential, right? Because that's the bottom line with this channel, right? And I got good news and bad news. The good news is you're not really going to lose money. Well, you're not going to lose money. The bad news is you're not really going to make any money with the JLC. You're just not. The only thing that's basically the catalyst for moving the value or the price up is, they're coming out with new watches at higher prices. They keep raising prices. Okay, so that all of a sudden makes the comparables, the comps, look very cheap. So there's that, the delta, the arbitrage, the spread. So I don't know. Their new prices are just crazy. I mean, JLC is coming out with crazy prices, and it's just not. I don't know where these people are coming from. I think they've lost their minds. It's just the company doesn't do good marketing. They just, I don't know. They're rudderless. They're rudderless. So the problem is there's no real catalyst except again, they're gonna, I think, a new Master Geographique, which looks pretty much like this, and they will look pretty much the same, right? I think if you get one of this era, my watch is, I think, a 2005, a 2010, I believe this is a 2010 or something. The new ones look pretty similar, right? You don't want to go any earlier than that, but I think the new one's like $20,000, $25,000. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And if you buy it new, you got to get a massive discount. Like, don't even think about. I'm gonna go back this way. Don't even think about getting this watch for less than a 25% discount. I would demand the minimum 25% discount. So there's nothing that's gonna make the watch go up. So where is this watch gonna be in value? Let's say 3 years from now. Not much. I think it's going to be like a $12,000 watch. I think it's probably going to be like a $12,000 watch, because they tick up a little bit at a time. They go up like 5% a year. They basically keep up with inflation. Okay, so this watch is not delivering alpha. You know what that means? Delivering alpha. You want to beat the market, right? So there's certain watches like Rolex. Generally, Rolex, again, you buy the used Rolex, you buy it right, it's gonna pretty much pick up 5% a year, right? So, or historically, you buy it at a discount, and it usually increases value about 5% a year. I think that's pretty much what you can expect with JLC. There's nothing going to be anything really exciting. There's no, again, we talk about on this channel, what are the catalysts that can make a watch increase in value, right? There's no innovative design here, right? There's no like design innovation, the dial, the case, whatever. There's nothing here that's like a wow thing, there's no like thing where fashion is revived, like we see with 70s type of design, right? Like the ellipse. We've been talking about the ellipse and why it's going up, and a lot of these tomato cans, like Juan and Kino, these guys don't understand anything because they have no taste, they got no style. I mean, look, what do you expect from guys from La Isla de la Cucaracha, okay? The guy knows nothing, right? He's a bukiak. And the chupacabra, who's basically stealing your children's lunchbox money by giving you bad advice, right? So, where were we? Yeah. So where are we with JLC is that it's really, I would call it a dead money brand, right? So do I regret buying the watch? No, because I use it. It's practical for me. And I'm happy with the watch. It gives me exactly what I need. Now, would I have been better off buying, let's say, a Rolex GMT, which kind of does the same thing, right? Rolex GMT, in theory, is the same concept, except here, you can adjust, you change the time zones by the cities. It tells you which city and click, 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 and it does it right there from this little crown over there. So but again, how often are you going to do that, right? So it's not like I'm going through 4 time zones a day or 3 time zones a day. It's not that big of a deal, right? For most people, I think the Rolex GMT, right? Like if you can deal with the whole, 1,400 hours nonsense, it's probably fine. And frankly, I mean, I hate to say this because I'm not a Rolex fanboy. From an investment perspective, I think the Rolex, and again, I'm talking about pre-ceramic. I'm talking about the regular, the classic Pepsi, whatever. I don't even know the models. I don't really care for them. Their buckles are crappy. There's always issues with those Rolex. The ceramic, the new ceramic cases are just too big. They're just disproportionate, and it's too common. That's the problem. But those, I think, actually, you know what? Let me back up. So the pre-ceramic, I think, are probably going to outperform the JLC. The ceramic, I think, is trash. I think the ceramic is going to be in a lot of trouble. They're churning them out. There's just too much supply, right? Everybody wants it, but they're really very, very common watches, right? It's like this is the aristocrat's watch. You know what I'm saying? So, basically, this is just this is not what I would call an investment watch, right? If you're talking about, for example, there's also Vacheron does the same exact watch. They do one in steel, they do one in gold, also AP. Now the Vacheron, I think, is a great value. You can get a Vacheron overseas for like $9,000 in steel, which I think is a great value. Not $9,000. Excuse me, I'm wrong. It's like 14. Let's call it 15,000. 15,000. You get a Vacheron. The problem is it's 42 millimeter, so it's it's a huge case. It's a little bit too big. And I know some of you guys say, "Oh, the watch is too big in yours." On camera, somehow the things look out of whack. But I assure you, it looks big, but it's not. But anyway, and you know what? Your peasant opinions are like, like you think I concern myself with what the riffraff, the hoi polloi, who's not even a member of the channel says. I mean, come on. Guys who are bukyaks, who probably have they're wearing Rolex garbage. I mean, come on. So where were we? So Vacheron, we're talking Vacheron has, I think, a pretty good watch, but also I think the Vacheron dual time overseas doesn't have any upside. Audemars Piguet, again, same exact watch, except they don't have the cities. They just have the dial layout with 2 time zones, power reserve, and calendar. That watch, I think, is actually a good value. I think that one has upside potential. Okay, Royal Oak is, frankly, I think Royal Oak it's a relatively classic design, especially if you're talking about the, sort of like that 2005 era when you got the new dials, or you go earlier. If you go earlier, maybe you want to go I think it's 97, maybe 1997 is the cutoff point, where it was still kind of modern looking, but still has some charm. I think those have potential to increase. Vacheron, again, I think Vacheron has the same problem with JLC. It just doesn't get people excited. You know what I mean? The Vacheron overseas is just, I don't know how the overseas, right? Which has got that steel bracelet, which looks pretty cool, right? It's $15,000. If that was a Royal Oak, it would be $50,000. Okay, if it was a Nautilus, it would be $50,000. I mean, they're the same watch. Okay, Nautilus, Royal Oak, Vacheron overseas. It's exactly the same watch. I mean, don't tell me the quality is better. Okay, the Vacheron quality, Vacheron Constantin versus Patek versus AP, it's the same quality. Okay, don't give me this nonsense. In-house movement, out-house. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's fine. Okay, you're not even going to see the movement in most of these watches. Though in this one you do. So the Vacheron, though, the problem again, I think they have a problem like JLC, which is just they just can't get people excited. So I think Vacheron is also one of these brands It's very hard to find a money-making watch in the Vacheron range, right? They don't really have anything that really is super iconic. They don't have anything really super innovative, iconic. They don't have that. Like Patek has, you know, they have some unique designs. You're talking about the Nautilus, okay, whether you like it, you don't like it. Yeah, you're talking about the Ellipse, which, you know, I'm a big fan of. You got a couple of others in there, which are, you know, just unique designs. And that's something that, again, you know, AP, Audemars Piguet, all they got is the Royal Oak, really. And then, you know, you talk about 1960s watches. They have some which are basically, you know, nothing special, just copies of what everybody else was doing. So where are we? Bottom line, we're 20 minutes in here, and what have we come up with? We've come up with that this watch, the JLC Master Géographique in gold. Good value, great value, but not a money maker. This is not going to be a money making watch. So, you know, frankly, if I had the opportunity, okay, if I had the opportunity, I would probably try to swap this out for a Royal Oak dual time in two-tone. Okay, if I found the right Royal Oak dual tone, again, two-tone, it's got to be two-tone, I'd probably go for that. And those are, I don't know, they're like, they should be 20, they're moved up, but if I can find one in the low 20s, the right one, it's got to be like, you know, nice clean dial, that might be, you know, that might be a good idea. But that is where it is. Okay, so anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your nasty, vicious comments below. I mean, your comments are basically meaningless because most of you guys are tomato cans and window lickers and crayon eaters, right? So it doesn't matter what you think, but you listen, you leave it here. It makes you feel better about yourself, you know. It makes you feel better about your existence to leave a comment on this channel, and, you know, it makes you feel, I don't know, feel like you have a voice. You have a voice. All right, leave comments below. Make sure you send money to the channel. Look, it costs millions of dollars a month to keep this channel on the air, and we need your help. We need your help, guys. Keep those wires coming, okay? It costs millions a month. So we need your funds to keep the channel on the air.